getting really hot in my apartment. We're still in the heat wave. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Hey there, welcome back to my channel, String Things by Mel. My name is Melissa. I'm a stay-at-home mom living in Vancouver, Canada, and on my channel I chat and share everything about my knitting hobby. Again, welcome. This is episode 18 of the String Things podcast. It's mid-August and I've got some updates for you. So yeah, time for the monthly installment. I've got some finished objects and some whips. Well, actually whip. And my plans for whips. So I'm wearing an object. I am wearing the mini mock neck tank designed by Jessie Maed Designs, and this is in yarn that was gifted to me from Hobbii. I'll give you guys a look at it. The color is called green tea. The yarn is unicorn solid, and it comes out pretty cropped. I'm wearing high-waisted jeans, and yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I'm just trying to sit back down on the floor. I can't remember if that was the length listed in the pattern. I was going off of an existing crop top, very similar shape in my wardrobe. I wanted something of that length. I admit it's kind of maybe a little bit more cropped than I could have made it, but it's comfortable and it's got the negative ease, so it just sits nicely on my body. And on a warm, well, heat wave weather, this is really good. It is made out of merino wool and polyamide. It's, I guess, technically a sock yarn. But inside, out of direct sunlight, I am doing okay. After blocking, this yarn was just even softer. It is superwash, so superwash tends to be smoother and softer, but it came out even softer than I thought it would, so it's been very comfortable next to skin. And I used to be hesitant about purchasing and knitting up superwash for myself. You hear kind of the stories, the nightmare stories of superwash garments just stretching out a whole bunch. But given that I've used a yarn that has a polyamide or a nylon content in it, I really didn't see as much growth. My swatch, I actually even had to pin to blocked measurements. Does superwash grow a whole bunch more after more and more wears and more washes? I don't know. If you do, let me know. But again, it's technically a sock yarn, so I feel like it shouldn't have major growth. So I think superwash yarn may be my go-to for kind of warm weather summer knitting moving forward. I have yet to fully enjoy the experience of knitting with cotton yarn. I have not tried linen and I'm not keen on it just because of how hard it is. It can be on your hands and fingers. Texture wise, there's not really any elasticity in it. So with lack of elasticity, then there's other considerations you have to make on what type of garment you're using. But anyways, superwash merino just might be my go-to. And unless there's a heat wave in Vancouver, superwash merino works for me. So yes, again, mini mock neck tank from Jessie Maed. I made size small and fits me real well. I like it. I've been wearing it a lot. Maybe not a lot, but I've been wearing it every week since I finished it. I finished this in 4 days, which is pretty quick. So this, along with some other garments I've made out of Hobbii yarn, I will have a separate video for later this month. And I'm planning to do a kind of full performance review, yarn review, pattern review on the 3 garments. So yeah, that is it on this finished object that you are getting today. So my next finished object to share is something that I shared last month, and it's something for Darcy. Here it is. And it's the Popsicle Tank. So I finished this in, I think, about a week. So pretty quick. As per usual, knitting for a toddler is a lot quicker than knitting for an adult. So here she is, the Popsicle Tank from Sarah, who is Noelle Knits. This is a size, sorry, there's a fast car driving by. I have the window open because it is hot. I've had to shut the door because I've got the AC running. I did not want to turn off the AC because it's getting really hot in my apartment. We're still in the heat wave. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. This is size 2 to 3 years. Darcy turns 3 in October. It fits her very well. She is slim with a long torso, so I think mine might be a little bit longer than the pattern measurements. I don't recall because I don't think I actually measured out this after blocking. And I realized, sorry Sarah, I didn't fill out the form and send back to you. And she probably hasn't nagged me about it because now we're friends. Yeah, so when I first started test knitting for Sarah back in April, we did not know each other. But now we do, and we went to flock together. So now we're knitting friends and mom friends and all that, and I'm very excited about that. Can you tell? I'm excited to have a mom friend who also knits, so we can share our passion, but also talk about mom stuff. Yes. Can I gush about Sarah some more? Her patterns are lovely, guys. So I tried to stick with a similar color palette to Sarah's sample. This is all Sandnes Garn Sunday yarn in the kind of white-ish color. It's not a bright white. It's called Putty. Then we have the Deep Petrol. And then this is Dark Sky Blue, Deep Burgundy, and Powder Pink. All the information will be in the description box. And this was really nice to knit up. It was, even though it's fingering weight yarn, again, it's toddler sized, so it knit up pretty quickly. I liked the 3x1 rib pattern. I can see a little pull here from Darcy wearing it. That's okay. What was I gonna say? Oh, so I followed the pattern exactly as instructed, except the neckline. I messed up. So there is a ratio provided for picking up stitches when you're going to do the double knit edging on the neckline and on the armholes. When I was doing the neckline, I did that first. I think I was watching TV or something, and I just didn't pay close attention to my pickup ratio, but I didn't pick up as many stitches as I should have in this kind of front section here, and as well in the back. I don't know what I was doing to, you know, be picking up fine here and then not anymore, but it worked out. I think it looks okay, but you can tell how the ribbing, that the column, the purl column, they all kind of point a little bit more in rather than straight, but it's not super noticeable, I don't think, and it looks fine. Like the overall neckline shape, it's fine. I can show you the armhole where it's kind of, in terms of the tension, how it should look. You know, it's not too different, but I mean, I can tell because I did it, but I don't think anyone can tell when Darcy's wearing it, because usually people are just seeing how cute Darcy is. So yeah, and she could not wait to wear this. So I knit out in the open. Darcy knows I knit things for her now. And she saw this laying out on my drawing mat. And one day while she was eating breakfast, and she pointed to it and she asked if she could wear it. And I said, sorry, it's still wet, it's not ready. And her reaction, no, but I want to wear it. You know, like toddler tantrum mode. But I kind of laughed and I thought it was really cute because it was about knitwear, not, you know, some of the other things that can cause toddler tantrums. So as soon as it was dry and I let her know, she was very excited. She put it on. She wore it to my sister's the first day. Like literally, like it's just dry off the mat. I was like, here you go. Took her to my sister's and I let my sister know. It's like, so I haven't taken many photos of this yet. Like, let's try to keep it clean, please. She came home and there was like a couple spots of chocolate on her. But because of the magic of wool, that's what I'm calling it anyways. I mixed a little bit of the wool wash with a little bit of water, and I just spot dabbed on the spots where the chocolate was, and gone. And I didn't have to rinse it out. It's a no rinse wool wash anyways, but didn't really have to do much like rubbing, which you don't want to do with non-superwash wool anyways, but just like gentle dabs, and the chocolate disappeared. So that was great. She did come home with a couple pulls or snags, which I haven't fully fixed. I just kind of like pushed them into the wrong side of the fabric. But other than that, it has held up pretty good. The yarn seems to be soft enough for Darcy. I don't put any other layer underneath. She does not complain about it. And yeah, she looks so cute in it. I would like to make a version for myself. There is a pattern I saw that's very similar. Is it Other Loops? I'll put it up. Very similar style. Although I am tempted to try to maybe grade up the largest size from the Popsicle Tank pattern, because it's not too far off from my size. I mean, I'm fortunate in a way that I'm slim, so I could fit the size like for the 10 to 12 year old. I think is that the age gap, or 11 to 12 years. But anyways, I could also just knit at a different gauge too, and then I get even closer to a tank top that'll fit me. So yes, but probably not for this summer. That is something for later. But yes, wouldn't it be cute to be matching with Darcy? Yeah, so I'm sorry, I always say that, and yeah, okay, done. So that motorcycle, sorry if you could hear that. That's it for finished objects. I want to say now, because I forgot to say in the beginning, if you're looking for Flock Fiber Festival content, it ain't happening in this video. I have a separate video for that. I'll put the link in the description. So my acquisitions and how my trip went and my whole experience is in a separate video, not in today's video. Now, before I move on to my whip, I want to say thank you to everyone who is viewing and supporting this channel, because I am coming up on my 1-year anniversary, and it's kind of snuck up on me. So it's actually next week, but maybe by the time you view this video, it will have passed. But I've not planned anything super special, and it's not that I don't think that this is a special milestone, but yeah. I just want to take the time to acknowledge that it's my 1-year anniversary of this channel, and that the success of this channel is thanks in large part to everyone who has been viewing, and probably word of mouth, sharing with your friends, the lovely knitting community. I started doing this for fun, as a way to kind of de-stress and find myself again while I was raising a young baby. Now she's almost 3. Oh my goodness. And the plan is to continue doing this for fun. I have the privilege that this is something that I don't have to rely on for an income. I mean, if I did need more money, I would find daycare and get a job, probably. So I am just riding this privilege wave of being able to do this when I feel like it, when I want to do it, and with no pressure of making money. Although having the ad revenue is kind of nice, because then now that's kind of my yarn money. So thank you again to everyone who has been watching, viewing, and who has subscribed to my channel. I still can't believe that there's 2.5K out there that are interested in my content. Yes, so again, thank you. Okay, on to my whip. So my whip is my Elizabeth blouse, and I feel like it's been going on for a long time. I looked on my Ravelry page for it, and I cast this on mid-June. Now, I did not work on this at all for the entire month of July, so I think that's why it feels like it's been going on and on and on. But I'm happy to report that I am nearly done. I'm on the final stage. I'm on finishing off the body right now. And so the Elizabeth blouse has ribbing, 1x1 rib for the end of the sleeves and the body in the pattern. I have decided to do like a fold over hem cuffs. Just thought it looked a bit cleaner, more for the aesthetic that I'm going for. I was trying to make it less sporty, if that makes any sense. Not that 1x1 rib is necessarily speaks sporty, but that's what I was trying to achieve. So this is using cone yarn from Custom Woolen Mills. It's not a yarn that's like a regular offering. I bought this on sale. It was not on sale, but it was just kind of like in their sale section of just like random things they had for sale, for purchase, available for purchase. So when I picked this project back up, I broke the yarn and decided to do the sleeves, because sleeves are more enjoyable to do than the stockinette body. In my opinion, I like doing sleeves. I might even say I love doing the sleeves, because it just feels like it gets faster and faster and faster, especially when you're doing decreases and you have fewer and fewer stitches. Then it really does get faster. But I'll show you my finished sleeve there. It's just like my Levitate wrap, the way I have finished it off. So I switched to a smaller needle and then did a purl round and then more rounds of stockinette, and then I do not bind off, and then I do live sewing. If you'd like to see how I do that, it's in my Levitate wrap video. I'll link that, maybe add the timestamp for you guys, because there was a little reel off Instagram that I discovered, and that's the technique used to finish off the sleeve. Now I decided to do, so the sleeves are knit in 4mm needles, as well as the rest of the garment. I switched to a 2.5mm needles for the end of the sleeve. Why 2.5? That happens to be the size of a circular needle that I had available, so that's what I used. And so I did 8 rounds on the 2.5mm needles, which works out to, I think it's just shy of an inch. It's pretty close to an inch. Did my purl round, and then did 7 rounds. Because I kind of count the round where you actually sew down the inside to the inside of the sleeve as kind of like the 8th round. And then, yeah, it works out pretty nicely doing it that way. Now, this isn't blocked. But yeah, I think it's a really nice, clean finish. So I am going to do that on the body as well. And so I've already done the, I've already done the purl row. So I just have 3 more rounds to go. And then I'm ready to stitch it down. Now, on the body, oh, I'm dropping stitches. Uno momento. There we go. I used to get so scared or panicky if I had dropped stitches on a garment. But now that with my experience, I'm kind of like, whatever, I can fix it. Speaking of that, I was working on my Dare to Mohair top, which is holding a single strand of mohair. And I just leave my knitting out, and I'm on the body at this point. And I was in the middle of getting ready, and I kind of saw, I was like, I check on Darcy, like in between doing like my lotion. Okay, do my makeup, check on Darcy. And I looked over, and she's kind of sitting there, and she had something orange wrapped around her legs, but I wasn't really thinking. And then when I finished my hair and I look out, oh, she had grabbed the top and like put her legs into the top like it was a sleeping bag. And so there was like half of my work was off the needles. And past me would have just freaked out at Darcy. Not good to freak out at your child about anything. But I was like, oh, Darcy, yeah, that's Mama's work. But luckily, mohair is just toothy enough that like the stitches didn't ladder down or anything. They were still, like, all the loops were still intact. So I was able to fix that relatively quickly. But yeah, past me would have just freaked about that. Current me, so much more chill now. So for the body, now back to the Elizabeth blouse, I did not use a 2.5 millimeter needle. I switched to a 3 millimeter needle because I didn't want it to like curve in too much or cinch in as much as the sleeves. And did I do 8? Yes, I'm doing the same number of rounds, so 8 rounds on the 3 millimeter needles, purl round, and then I will do 7 and then stitch it in. Now this yarn, after passing through a lot of stitches, it gets I'd say a bit fragile. Like this yarn like breaks pretty easily. So what I'll have to do on the body, because I do almost like 3.5 to 4 times the length of the body is the length of the yarn you'll need once you break off for sewing. I won't leave that much. I'll just leave like, I don't know, a little bit, work that, and then splice together more yarn just to reduce the amount of breakage and passing this yarn through. And this yarn is pretty easy to splice together. No spinning required. Just slap it between palms and rub for, I don't know, 3 seconds, not that long. It splices together very easily that way. Oh my god, I almost put my whip into my coffee cup. I just looked down and the way it dropped is like just next to my coffee. Yeah, so I pretty sure I'll finish the body today and then hopefully take advantage of this last bit of heat wave weather we're having and get this wash and block, because I think it would only take a day to dry, I think. And then I will have a completed woolly blouse that I can't wear right now. But that's okay, because that means it's done and Moby sweater, I'm coming for you next. I think, actually. Nope. There is something else. As soon as I say that, I realize, like, no, that's incorrect. I have something else I have to do before I can cast on my Moby sweater. So I am knitting up a size small. This is a petite knit pattern, and I know in the past I have said that I wish there was a smaller size, like extra small in the petite knit patterns, because some of her designs have too much positive ease built in, and here I am not knitting up the smaller size and wanting more positive ease. So but it's just because the style of this top, I was going for a bit of boxy boyfriend fit. I wanted it to be extra casual and comfortable. I did not want it to look like a golf or a tennis shirt. So trying to get away from looking too sporty and more stylish was my goal. And it's not blocked yet, but it is, you know, it's definitely fitting the way I'd like it to. And so mine is falling, I think it's almost at my hip bones. Maybe once it blocks, it'll reach there. So if I'm wearing high-waisted jeans, I can maybe just do it like a little small French tuck, but also if it's not tucked in, it should look okay. Right, that is my, I would say, yeah, my only active whip for myself. I have a Cumulus blouse in black that I cast on when I had cast on itis in May or June, which I think is just going to stay in hibernation for a while I finish up more pressing matters. So my next whip, my future whip, because it's not actually a whip yet, I am doing another test knit for Sarah, Noelle Knits. So her next design is called the Cameron Pullover. It is worked top down. It's a broken rib stitch, oversized sweater for kids. Well, all her patterns are for kids. There's a noisy truck going by. And I kind of cheated because I was also impatient, so I want to cast this on pretty quickly. I have a baby swatch. So yeah, it's just broken rib. I am using Drops Air, which is the same yarn Sarah used for her sample, except I'm only going to do one color. So the original sample and the pattern instructions are for like a color block. There's 3 colors. I'm using stash yarn, and so I only have one color, but that's okay. I'm happy that I'm finally getting to use this yarn, because I purchased this yarn for Darcy to make a textured cardigan, and I started it and I got about like 3 inches of it done, which will be frogged once this gets knit up, because yeah, I like this better. Darcy is more of a pullover style kid. I'm losing my words now. Yeah, in terms of like cardigans and buttons, she's not really there yet, but she will wear a pullover. So, and because it's kind of purpley, I think she'll really like it. Purple, you know, and she says pink now is her favorite color. So, and this is just so light and soft. I'm lucky Darcy doesn't really complain about clothing being itchy, but this is like, yeah, it's really nice. She could easily wear this next to skin, but given that it's a pullover, she'll most likely have a t-shirt or a tank top underneath. So this is something that I will need to cast on pretty soon. The test knit group launched yesterday. We have until September 21st to complete our pullovers. So far, I've had no issue with meeting deadlines for Sarah. I mean, I'm also knitting for a 2-year-old, so I have much less to knit than those who are knitting for a 12-year-old in the group. As for the rest of this summer, I thought I was done with summer knitting. But with Knit City Vancouver coming up, and with September still being relatively warm here, and also because I just like to challenge myself, I thought, ooh, wouldn't it be nice to knit up something to wear at Knit City? So September 23rd and 24th are the dates that I will be there. I'm there for a workshop on this Saturday, and I plan on attending the marketplace a second time on Sunday, you know, just in case maybe I'm too tired after my workshop and have to go home for whatever reason. I do plan on going on Sunday, make sure I buy up all the yarn, and potentially might bring Darcy along with me on Sunday. We'll see, unless my husband has plans to do something with her that day. So I have 2 days to wear some hand knits. This is a contender, so I'm only going to make one garment, and it's probably going to be an Oolong tank by Aimee Sher, highly influenced by Sarah, because she unfortunately has frogged her pie camisole that she was actually working on it during our flock weekend, and she's going to use that same yarn to make Oolong tank. And I remember talking about that design with her that weekend, and I was just thinking that I have leftover yarn from this. So this used less than a skein of yarn, a skein being 100 grams. So I actually have a skein and a bit left over, which, as long as I do size B or A, so the 2 smaller sizes, should be enough yarn to make an Oolong tank. I also still have my swatch too, if I need to harvest yarn. I don't know why I get in these like potential yarn chicken situations, but I kind of enjoy it because I don't like having too much leftover yarn that I don't know what to do with. So this yarn is called green tea. Oolong is kind of a tea. It's a sign. I need to make an Oolong tank in this tea. And I think this will still be like, this is wool, like I think that tank in a wool yarn will still work out, especially in September. And I'm feeling a little crazy, and I don't think I'm actually even going to swatch for the Oolong tank, because I have my swatch from my mini mock neck. I also have a whole garment. So the gauge for the mini mock neck tank is just a little bit different from the Oolong tank, and I think that's a small enough difference that I'm going to risk not swatching. I'm just gonna go for it. I know I'm definitely a team swatch person, but this is the one time, because I have a whole garment to reference as well, that I'm not going to swatch for this. So this is something that I would like to cast on very soon. I hear it's a nice, engaging, and enjoyable knit, so I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, to match with Sarah at Knit City. Which day are you going to wear yours, Sarah? We got to plan that next too. Okay, so that is now everything that I wanted to update you guys on, what I've been working on. Later this month, I will have the video on the garments I've made using Hobbii yarn. Spoiler alert, I did finish all 3 garments on time. My plan is to wear them as much as I can for the remainder of August, or leading up to when I make that video, so that I can do a performance review as well on those garments. So let you know how I felt in them, also let you know what I thought about the yarns that I selected, and also my thoughts on the 3 patterns. So with that, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today for this podcast episode, and I'll see you in the next one. And until then, happy knitting. Bye.